different options. Remember, I can FOIL this because I have a binomial times a binomial, or I can just distribute it. Whichever way you want to do it, that's perfectly fine. I'm going to do it both ways right now. Okay? I'm going to distribute first. So I'm going to multiply a times a, and then I'm also going to multiply a times that negative 3. Then I will also distribute the 4 times a, then the 4 times the negative 3. Okay? So this becomes a times a plus a times the negative 3. Next, I'm going to have positive 4 times a, and I will also have positive 4 times the negative 3. Okay? Now, when I work this out, it becomes a squared minus 3a plus 4a minus 12.
Why didn't you just do that before?
You don't have to write that middle step. That's perfectly fine. If you don't want to write this middle step right here, you don't have to. I'm just writing it just for the purpose of, in case anybody's getting confused with what I'm doing.
You confused me when you did that.
Really?
Yeah.
Sorry. If you want to just go ahead and multiply, think in your head, a times a squared, that's perfectly fine. Then a times the negative 3, negative 3a. Yes. No? What's the last thing we need to do? Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. That's a positive a minus 12. Now you can write 1 in front of the a. You don't have to. It's up to you. Okay? You don't have to. It doesn't matter to me. Now let's say if you wanted to FOIL it, you're really doing the same thing. That's distributing. So FOIL, first, outer, inner, and last. When you multiply the red, which is your first terms, you get a squared. When you multiply the O, which is your outer terms, you get a minus 3a. When you multiply the I, which is your inner terms, you get a positive 4a. And your last terms, when you multiply that, you get 4 times a negative 3 becomes negative 12. And then you would go ahead and combine your like terms, which are the middle terms. And it's the same exact thing. Either way you want to solve it, it's up to you. Any questions? When you go to multiply 3a times everything, make sure you don't multiply 3a times the negative 4. Notice that's not happening. Same thing for the negative 4. When I say multiply it by everything, I mean this whole second equation. Okay, so multiply negative 4 times each term. All right? Make sure you don't multiply the negative 4 times the 3a. I'm going to write this in red for my a's. So when I multiply 3a times everything, I'm not going to do that middle step because I think you guys understand. 3a times a is going to become 3a squared. This is when you're adding the exponents. All right? Okay, this is when you're adding the exponents. When you have 3a times a. When you're multiplying terms, you're adding the exponents. Now, when you go 3a times negative 4a squared, first off, it's going to give me a negative 12. Second off, it's going to become a to the what? 32. Perfect. 3a times a positive 3 just becomes a positive 9a. On to the negative 4. Negative 4 times a becomes negative 4a. Negative 4 times negative 4a squared becomes a positive 16a squared. And the negative 4 times a positive 3, the last one, is going to give me a negative 12. Now the last thing you need to do is what? Combine the like terms. Now, go ahead and write this in standard form. So that means largest degree first. So my largest degree is actually the negative 12a to the third. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and mark that out.
Wow. Do
Now, for my a squares, I have two of those. I got a 16a squared and I have a positive 3a squared. Add those together, 19a squared. Make sure you don't subtract the 16 from both sides. They're all on one side. Okay? So you don't need to do that. Positive 16, positive 3. Put them together. Make sure you're not messing with the variable or the exponent when you're adding or subtracting. We are moving right along. Now, positive 9, negative 4. Positive 5a. And minus 1. Simple, right?